Hi and welcome to this very lovely 3-card spread for Thursday the 21st of March with me, Taylor-Nyx, and we've got in front of us the 8 of Wands followed by Strength in the centre and then the 10 of Cups. So if you feel that you have been struggling to make progress in an area of life lately, like you just couldn't move ahead, things weren't coming to fruition, you were planting the seeds but they weren't sprouting, then this spread has a lovely message for you. So the 8 of Wands speaks about rapid, fast-paced action or progress, and aligned action. So you've got these 8 sprouting wands very dynamically pictured on the 8 of Wands card above a flowing river. So that flowing river represents, motion. Things are now in flow. You might feel that you are now in the flow and able to go with the flow, whereas you may have felt stagnant, held up, too many obstacles in your path, or perhaps you just felt personally stuck as a result of your own perhaps limiting beliefs, or sometimes we don't know why we're stuck. Sometimes we have goals and things that we want to do and we really want to do them, but for whatever reason we feel like we just can't. There's a invisible barrier to moving forward, or perhaps we feel it sometimes, I've likened it to that feeling of you're wading through glue. Everything feels so much harder than it necessarily needs to be. And the 8 of Wands speaks about a completely different energy coming in. It's this dynamism suddenly coming in, and it's interesting that this spread coincides with the beginning of Aries season. So yesterday yesterday we moved out of Pisces season, and that dreamy energy which can have us very focused inward. It can be an energy that keeps us stuck in a place where we need to process things through our subconscious. We have messages coming in, downloads that we need to process, that we need to focus on before the action of Aries and the fire energy of Aries comes in. And so we have reached that turning point. We have just entered Aries season, and now this fire energy is now with us, and that is very much depicted here in the 8 of Wands. So with each of these wands is sprouting, there's growth, there is the beginning of something new. So this is a great time for new projects that had felt like they were either held up or dormant to suddenly take flight. These ones are, flying through the air, and they, as I mentioned, they are aligned. So whereas you may have had several things on the go, personal and professional projects perhaps, that felt like they were in conflict with one another, and it was all a bit of a tangled mess perhaps, or you were trying to make progress in one area, but the other thing that you have going on was tripping it up. Everything was working perhaps against each other. There was no alignment, but suddenly we've got this energy where all the things that we're working on are aligned, so we're able to move forward in a way that doesn't feel as cluttered or as conflicting as it has been. And that lovely energy, it's an energy of positive change, and one speaks about action. It speaks about our determination to bring things to fruition, our goals, our dreams, things like that. And it talks about our intention. So there is clarity of intention. We have a strong sense of direction. There's movement, there's motion, and there's alignment. So this speaks to a time where there is an opportunity here to accomplish a great deal in a relatively short period of time. We have the opportunity to be propelled forward with our goals. And it's an energy that we need to make the most of in the moment. So there is an opportunity to, ride this wave, but it will take an acceptance from us and a willingness from us to kind of grab it and move forward. I've got an image in my mind. Yesterday I went to see Dune 2, the second Dune film, and if you've seen it, there is a lot of riding. They ride these massive desert worms in the film at incredible high speeds, and it's kind of like these breakneck speeds where they're stood atop these enormous monster desert worms. And I'm kind of getting that image of, they have to get themselves into position and grab on for dear life because of the speed at which these things move. And there is a sense right now of that, it's available to us, but we have to position ourselves to leap on and ride it while that energy is, speeding through. So because there is so much goodness for us to receive from doing that, we can suddenly get, the progress that we had been hoping for but haven't actually had for a while. So that's a really lovely energy, obviously, to have, and a very coincidental to appear at the beginning of Aries season. And that's followed by this central card, this central major arcana card of strength. Strength in this respect talks about a very centered, very composed, quiet inner strength. It doesn't speak to kind of an aggressive strength, an aggressive show of strength, a very demonstrative show of strength. Instead, it speaks to our inner reserve, or our ability to tap into an inner source of strength. So it talks about courage, it talks about influence, our ability to influence and persuade and to craft or influence a situation to our advantage in that quietly powerful way. It's like a peaceful power. I love that combination of words. It's been a bit of a mantra for me lately, is peace and power. And it talks very much about that combination. The combination of peace and power brings about that very, very influential energy that doesn't push, but still very much enacts the change that it's looking for, or the results that it's looking for. And that energy is available to us right now. So the spread is indicating, and it's central, and it's, a major arcana card. It's a major theme here, is that we've got this wonderful speedy dynamism, this opportunity of rapid growth and change and progress from the Eight of Wands, supported by our own inner strength. We're now able to tap into that. But it's not a pushing energy, it's not an aggressive energy, it doesn't require very big displays of outward assertion. It might require us to kind of get quiet, to get very focused, and to just access that peaceful power within ourselves. but it is very much available to us. The Strength card depicts a woman taming a lion. So she is, you know, gently holding the lion's jaws. The lion looks up at her in a position of acquiescence, and it's a very peaceful image. So it's kind of a compassionate power as well. It's more of a loving, quiet power, you know, than anything else. And if you have felt like, as I mentioned earlier with the Eight of Wands, if you have felt lately like there's been a lot going on that has felt unruly and has felt out of hand, this is the time when you will now be able to feel like you are taming it. You are gently able, you know, not with excessive force, but you are gently feeling much more in control, able to tap into your inner reserves of strength to gently, compassionately tame that situation. So things have just felt, perhaps you felt like lately that you bit off more than you could chew, that the situations were feeling out of hand, maybe a bit scary. You know, you felt like a bit overwhelmed, like something felt like it was, you know, a bit frightening. You found yourself in a situation where things had got out of control to the point where they felt frightening. Now is the time when you will be able to tame that, and it will come under your gentle, peaceful, powerful control. And now this card is then followed by the Ten of Cups. So, I mean, as you can see by the picture on the Ten of Cups, it depicts a happy family. It's the happy family card. Now, that needn't necessarily be taken literally, but it can talk about relationships. It can talk about our connections. And lots of us have very different kinds of families, don't we? So some of us, you know, are very close to our blood family and we have children, and some of us don't, and some of us never will, but we're very close to our urban family, our chosen family, or the animals in our lives. You know, if we have companion animals or pets in our lives, you know, for many of us, myself included, that is very much our close family. And you know, whether or not you're in a loving, you know, a romantic relationship or a marriage, or whether or not you have children, it's talking to our connection, our loving connections. And it can also talk about our loving connection to self. But the Ten of Cups is a hugely optimistic, it's such a blessing of a card to receive in a spread. It depicts a contented, fulfilled, happy, joyful family looking out over a beautiful homestead landscape with a rainbow above them, with 10 cups which speak about emotion and feeling depicted within the rainbow. So as you probably know, the way that we get rainbows is that when you see a rainbow, the sun is always behind you because it is shining and creating refraction in the water droplets that are in front of us. So if you have felt that, you know, there have been, you know, metaphorically rainy days recently, and it felt maybe like there had been quite a few for quite a long time, it was becoming a bit of an endurance test, and you were wondering when the sun was going to come out. The sun is coming out. The sun is coming out right now. So it will shine a light that will, you will feel it at your back. What you were looking at before that just looked like a rainy landscape, there will now be essentially a rainbow there. There is fulfillment coming in. There is contentment coming in. There is an abundance of love and joy and happiness coming in. a sense of wholeness and completion, because it's the Ten of Cups is the culmination of things. Also, it talks about the end of a journey, where a turning point, or a culmination point, where you're able to see the beauty in the journey that you have just taken. Because sometimes when we're deep in a journey, and we feel like, you know, we can't see the light, we can't see the color, we can't see, you know, sometimes it can get difficult in the midst of you know, a journey from point A to point B, from where we originally were to our goal. But the Ten of Cups is saying we're now reaching a point where, you know, we've done what we needed to do, and the sun is coming out. It is shining the light for us to feel the fulfillment and the contentment and the, you know, the accomplishment. So yes, that card is very much speaking about harmony, especially in our relationships. So if there have been some rockiness to relationships recently, then there is a restoration of harmony, and not just harmony, but bliss, indicated by the Ten of Cups. So if those feelings have been missing for a while, there is, this card does say to us, you know, that is coming in. So we've got these lovely themes. We've got these themes of, you know, rapid progress. We've got this theme of inner strength. We've got this theme of harmony and bliss in our relationships. So it's quite an idyllic spread in that way. And I think quite generally it's speaking about a movement from one state to another. We've reached a turning point where perhaps things weren't feeling aligned. We weren't feeling top of our game in the strength, in terms of strength. We were feeling like we didn't have access to that for a while, and perhaps, you know, those things were impacting on our connections and our relationships maybe. But we are in a period of change now. We actually have a full moon coming up on Monday, and that's also an eclipse. So we have the full moon eclipse in Libra, and Libra, that full moon does speak very much about relationships and our focus on relationships and balance in our relationships. So there is a lot around connections with others there and how we relate to others. So I think I can see very strong correlations with this spread and what is going on in astrology right now, and perhaps you can too. But I hope very much that you can feel the blessings promised by this spread already, and if not, rest assured there are better times coming in. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.